take us through how to apply effective metadata management for value creation. Thank you. Thanks.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody is doing great today. So you may wonder, why are we going to end up the first day of the summit with metadata? You may think of metadata as, oh my God, information about data asset. And immediately we have that image of spreadsheet. Not very interesting activities. And I would like you to take a few takeaways you will get at the end of the session. Metadata is actually very cool. Metadata is going to be a key enabler to address some of your data challenges. You can create value from metadata. And most important, when you start to automate metadata, sky is the limit. The volume of use case you can address leveraging metadata is just unbelievable. So we are going to start by a little bit of context about Telus. So Telus may not need an introduction. We are the Canada's fastest growing national telecommunication company. We are close to 80,000 team members. We generate close to 16 billion revenues every year, and we enable 16 million customer connections. We are recognized as a leader in culture and sustainability, and we are committed to giving where we live. So when it comes to our environment, so do we have a mic issue? Can you still hear me? Okay. So when it comes to our activities, so you may know cell phone, internet, television. That's the communication part of it. We also have a division focusing on online security, as well as a division on smart home security, health, and agriculture. So when it comes to our data landscape, one word: complexity. Complexity and an horrendous volume of data. We've been growing up by acquisition since 20,000, so it's very complex. So the challenge from a metadata management is really to understand what data we have, where the data is coming from, how the data is being transformed through our various system and application, and who is going to use the data. Are there any risks with our data? So we started our metadata management journey back in 2019. So we are close to 5 years. And when we reflect on our journey, we identified a few key factors of success. First one, a deliberate strategy. We are not in the business to build data catalog. We want to understand the data we have in order to create value. So what do we want to achieve? Where do we want to go with our catalog? Our strategy is also supported by opportunity management. So the strategy is going to be complemented with high-value opportunities that are going to help us create our capability-driven roadmap. Then, building blocks. When we take the decision to invest in a data catalog, we want to generate revenues. We want to generate EBITDA. So every investment decision is going to be backed up by value creation. And most important, we are going to develop piece of code. We are going to leverage the technology, but not only technology. We need people, process, and change management to make it happen. And when we do that, we rapidly came to the conclusion that we continuously need to assess our readiness and maturity. Are we doing the right thing? Do we bring value? Do we generate adoption? So by continuously planning, acting, and evaluating for iterative improvement and optimization, we came with a success story that is quite interesting. So after 5 years, one of our main achievements is data democratization. We've been able to give time back to data citizens. When we started working with our partner Colibra back in 2020, the goal was to enable data citizens to find information about Telus data asset. The second year, how do we empower our data citizens to understand and trust the information we have gathered in the data catalog? In 2023, we were able to say, well, we have been able to achieve a significant volume of metadata available in the platform. Let's collaborate. Let's work with our business stakeholders. Let's work with operation to create value use case. And in 2024, this is the deep dive Sarah is going to take us through. It's really about how we can distribute and use metadata. So a few facts in terms of adoption. We've been able to double our user base between 2022 and 2023. 70% of our users are returning users. We've been able to build a community of metadata stewards. So you can see the steward as the subject matter expert about the data. They know where the data is being collected, what the data mean, and how the data is being transformed. And most important, 89% of our users say that the information available at go/metadata, which is our data catalog. So 80% of the information, our users say that the information is useful. So, key factor of success. We have been able to make available 25 million assets, so that the information about 25 million data points pertaining to Telus activities. We have also enabled a business glossary, more than 1,300 business terms. We have enabled a data and report catalog, an API catalog, and most important, we've been able to document relationship between assets. More than 56 million relationships have been documented. And when it comes to cost avoidance, this is where we really started to extract value. So again, we are very close to our user community, and every year we are going to publish a survey and ask them. And last year, we asked the question, what was the average time you were spending on a weekly basis searching for data? The average was 4 hours a week. Now that we have the metadata repository, same question. What is the average volume of hours you spend searching for data? And the 4 hours was reduced to 50 minutes. So when we say we give time back to data citizen, that's true. And then when it comes to our team, we started as a very small team. We were not even full-time team member at that time. And now we are a team growing of more than 16 team members, growing to 20. And another factor of success, we operate as a center of excellence. We are accountable for the vision, the people, process, technology, and change management, including adoption. So by reducing handoff and centralizing decision platform maintenance as well as adoption, we are able to centralize trends in order to derive value. So with that in mind, I'm going to let Sarah talk about metadata-driven automation and the power of metadata. Yeah.
This one. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sarah Ness, and I am a solution architect at Telus in the metadata management team. I primarily am focused on APIs and integrations to other systems, to our metadata management system, but I also look at other integration patterns as well. I also am the chair of the Data Governance and AI Governance project at the Telecom Management Forum, and have spent a lot of work specifying the APIs for data governance for that industry. All that has led me to, along this path, this journey of metadata automation. So what do I mean by metadata-driven automation? I define it as the automated use of metadata to discover, understand, trust, track, observe data, and I got to underline the point, in real time, or even in near real time as we go along. So how do we get there? First of all, why do we automate? Why would we automate any task? We've got a bunch of manual work. I want to do that manual work in a shorter amount of time, and I want to do it in a more repeatable way, and I want to do more of it. Same applies when we look at metadata automation. I want to reduce the amount of manual work out there. I want my stewards to move to higher value tasks of management and oversight instead of just sitting there doing the repetitive task of maybe writing in descriptions and cataloging. I also want to enter metadata once and have it used often. I want to reduce the time while increasing the volume of what I can do. I want to overcome the backlog of uncatalogued data assets. How many people here have a backlog of data assets that maybe they don't even know? Probably more than you think, right? Because there's assets out there that you haven't even discovered yet. Nobody's told you about, but they're out there. And it's an overwhelming mountain. How do I get through this? Right? Automation can help with that. I want to maintain consistent data management while I'm increasing the volumes of the data, okay, while the data increases. I got to keep on top of that backlog. Automation can also help us ensure consistency and quality. We automate a process, it's repeatable, it's doing the same thing every time. We can eventually trust what it's doing, right? And that increases the quality of the metadata we're getting in the catalog. I'm moving my metadata collection early in the process. Again, I want to enter it once and have it used often, right? But move that collection from being a passive one, where I'm out there looking, do you have metadata, can I catalog it, to being one where I'm being informed. This has been added, this has been updated, right? Takes me to thinking back. I'm going to date myself a little bit here. I look younger than I am. 25 years ago, and I was talking this morning, I can't believe it's been 25 years. I worked at a large news network in the US. We'll call them Company C, just for short. And they had a process where they would catalog or record to tape all the feeds coming in from the affiliates, right? So somebody's job was to go around and, oh, that tape's empty, okay, put another tape in the machine, take that tape out, write on it, this is a tape from this affiliate, it's about this news story, blah, 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 blah. Throw in a cart, somebody else with a good pair of sneakers would come along, push the cart down to the archive, they'd pick it up at the archive, they'd put into the catalog this tape, blah, 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 okay? And then all of a sudden something would happen and be like, where's that tape about that? Oh yeah, somebody run down to the archive. Get the fastest guy because we got to get this to air. Grab that tape, take it up to the cutting room, throw it in, cut, record it back to tape, run it out to the on-air server, bang, it's on the air. But not that fast, right? They needed to automate that process. They wanted to digitize all those feeds coming in and collect that metadata about that tape early in the process, and then have that metadata flow through the system. So they could find, understand, trust the information, right? Does it sound kind of familiar? It was basically metadata, right, that we were grabbing. And they wanted to reduce the manual process, right? Somebody writing on, going through the tape, oh, here's George W., and he's saying blah, 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 and it's at time point 111, right? Facial recognition, speech to text we were using, collecting all that metadata, right? That's great, but they also had a huge volume of recorded information, and oh, by the way, they had all kinds of old movies and things like that they estimated it would take 25 years, so maybe they're just done now, to actually move it to digital format. They needed to automate that process. Okay? So why am I telling you that? Well, when I think about it, it's really kind of what we're trying to do now. That same concept of moving the collection of metadata early in the process, using things like GenAI, right? Reducing the manual process so that flows through, and I know I can find, understand, trust, track, and observe my data. So, hence we come to metadata-driven automation. Okay? We're using automation to manage and enhance the metadata catalog, but we're also using automation to allow people to use that metadata. Let's look at it from 2 points of view. First of all, our provider point of view. These are our owners, custodians of metadata and data. What are their concerns? Privacy, security, ethics, how is the data flowing, what's the lineage? I'm looking to ensure I have regulatory compliance and I want to provide that data out, right? So I want people to be able to find it so they can use it, but know that it's fit for purpose. Some automation opportunities they have. Well, I just spoke about Gen AI and AI, right? Applying that in the process to allow maybe it to just suggest descriptions on things in an automated fashion, right? Get over that backlog of cataloging and that. Also, metadata self-discovery. So there are lots of metadata systems out there, if you look around, things like configuration management systems, API management systems, our monitoring systems that track the requests through our systems. They all hold some beautiful lineage. Oh, it's glorious. I look out there, I'm like, oh, what could I do with this? We bring those things in an automated fashion. We enhance our catalog through those other catalogs, right? Self-discovery of that metadata. The consumer point of view, okay? These are the people that want to use it, and they need metadata in order to use it, okay? They need metadata in order to understand the value and to get value out of the data, and out of the metadata as well. They're concerned with analytics, their AI, Gen AI models. They're concerned with reliability, that track and observe, right? What's happening in our data systems right now? How's our data moving around? They are also wanting to monetize, right? Increase revenue. So things like data observability. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it basically means the ability to understand the state and health of my data as it flows through the enterprise. Okay? There's a few pillars, so let me lay them out, and you can see whether or not you recognize some of them. Metadata, lineage, metrics, and logs, right? So we need metadata in order to understand the health of our data, the system, track and observe, and we need it for reliability. There are automation opportunities. API integration, right? Give them the ability to consume that metadata in a self-serve fashion, and they will use it to drive other processes in an automated fashion throughout the enterprise. Integration with DevOps pipelines. So this is move the collection of that metadata early, okay? Apply quality to that metadata early, and have that flow through, right? Opportunities to automate there. How did we get there? The path we took, well, we had to build a bunch of capabilities, right? We just didn't turn the switch off and say, let's automate. We spent years, as Carine mentioned, 5 years, building capabilities, foundations, catalogs, business glossary, so we have a common language. We apply stewardship, so we have governance. We then went to say, how complete and what quality is our metadata? You cannot automate if your metadata is not of good quality. Okay? Policies, lineage, all help us. Lineage, especially when I talk about the use case on reliability in a second. We went to integration and collaboration. We looked across the enterprise, collaborated with our teams, and we use APIs. Okay? And we get to the point where we can automate through metadata, other processes. So a quick look at what we did. Again, we are enabling data observability through metadata. We had a team, enterprise metadata management. We rely on our data quality team as well to help with our metadata quality, and we collaborate with other teams across the organization. So I mentioned some of the sources we were bringing in: configuration management information, API management information on the lineage, things from monitoring systems, real-time monitoring, all that lineage. We needed to collaborate with those people. Our goal was to maximize the value of the metadata to enable that data observability. And we focused on the reliability. Reliability at Telus is a huge business driver. We need to ensure our systems are up, running, and reliable when we have major sales events, especially all the time, right? And we need to understand how to discover, trust, track, and observe data. So let's look at this use case in more detail. What was our problem? The first one we said is we need to have accurate and current architecture diagrams in order to assess risk for our major sales, for our reliability, and to perform issue resolution if something does go wrong. Currently, this was a manual process. Somebody drawing it out in a model, took months, got stale, something happens, they pull it out and like, it doesn't, what's connected? I don't know, right? You're restarting the hair out. That was the problem we were trying to solve. How did we solve it? Does anybody know the answer? Begins with M. Metadata. Right? We went to our enterprise metadata system, and we enhanced it with all that lineage from other systems. We ran data quality on it to make sure it's good. We collaborated across things, and we made it available through API for people to consume. Who's consuming it? The people who want to draw the diagrams. So we're at the point now where we can provide this metadata to an upstream consumer, and they can, on demand, draw their architecture diagrams, right, with everything that's connected. They can see the blast radius for issue resolution. They can understand what the impact is, right, if they make a change. We're not done. This is just a start for us. Every day somebody comes to me, they say, oh, I've got metadata. Do you want it? And then we have people say, do you have metadata? I'd like it. I have a process. I have an idea, right? We are continuing to move the creation, the cataloging of metadata early. We're going from being a passive collection to a proactive collection. We're moving to being, do you have metadata? Asking, to being informed. I have something. I've added something. I've updated something, by embedding ourselves right into the DevOps and the Arc DevOps processes. We are lowering the risk, right, by improving our reliability. And on the upstream side, we're making that available to anybody who wants to consume it simply by API enabling our system. That, my friend, is the value of metadata. If you get it early, you provide it out, okay? And that's metadata in action. Thank you.
I'll just open it up to any questions. Let's just get you a mic, please, if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
For all this that you did, how much did you buy and how much did you build in-house and how much did you customize purchase solutions? Sort of what was the balance?
Are you talking on the collection side or the consuming side? Or everything?
All of it.
Okay.
Or I guess if you can
yeah. So on the collection side, we leverage the platform and the technology connectors that come with the platform that are available in order to do technical collection. We did build connections to get more lineage out of some of the sources we have, like configuration management. Okay? But we leverage the underlying API enablement of the platform itself to do that. So we just basically build on top of it. It's an easier build. On the consuming side, we leverage the industry standard data governance APIs that we specified. So we already had that specification. And then we built the implementation in order to respond to that interface. So it's a very standard interface, very interoperable across the organization.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? All right, thank you so much, Sarah and Carine.
Thank you.
Thank you.